Hey guys, what's going on? This is Tyler, and today we're going to be doing the final part of What If Naruto Was a Saiyan. And as you guys could see in this thumbnail, this clean ass Naruto PNG with the black hair, well, this recolor was actually done by my homie Aventai, so shoutouts to him, and be sure to go subscribe to him, link in the description. The king is trying to reach 5k by 2021, so let's get him there, bro. And with that being said, everyone, let's finish this What If off and get right into the intro. Hope you guys enjoy.
Hey, collecting rings like a Sonic. Bitches wanna party. My wrist getting heavy. Got 'em on a diet, yeah. Flex like I'm Hogan. Yobi's coming over. We respect.
We start our story off where we last left off, which was with Naruto talk no jutsuing Nagato and saving the day. Like in canon, he would be declared as a hero in the leaf, and during this time Sasuke and the rest of Taka would have already had their encounter with Killer Bee and the 5 Kage. I don't see much changing at this point, so we can just skip to around when Naruto arrives at the summit. Basically, Sasuke still fights the 5 Kage, specifically the Raikage, and barely escapes, and he would still encounter Sakura, and Sakura would still fail to kill him, and Kakashi and Sasuke would still have their fight. But when Sasuke fires the Susanoo arrow, instead of Kakashi throwing a Kamui, it would be Naruto saving him. Naruto, seeing Sasuke doing this, is questioning as to why he would do this to his friends, but Sasuke would basically say how he's basically too far gone, and Naruto and Sasuke would then have their fight. And when Sasuke and Naruto fight, Naruto would be clearly having the advantage here since Sasuke is too fatigued to even attempt to keep up, and plus this is a far stronger Naruto. The odds are just stacked against Sasuke, and this leads into Sasuke being saved by Tobi and those two escaping, and Tobi still declaring the 4th Great Ninja War. The setup for the war arc would still take place similar to in canon, with Naruto still thinking he needs Kurama's power to save Sasuke, and he would still go through that journey of achieving KCM and meeting Kushina and Minato this time rather than just solely Kushina. The only reason why Minato is here this time and not just Kushina, it's because, well, Minato and Naruto never met in the Pain arc, because remember, Naruto actually overpowered the Chibaku Tensei rather than resorting to trying to unseal Kurama. Now, Naruto would be frustrated at the fact that Minato kept everyone from telling him about who he truly is, but Kushina and Minato just try to justify, which Naruto reluctantly accepts. He can't just be mad at them, especially at a time like this. He understands that they had to do what they had to do, and it already happened anyway. Naruto will still remember this, however, it's kind of like a forgive but never forget type of mentality. And so, Naruto would achieve KCM, and there's something I also forgot to mention, which is the fact that Bee still fights Kisame, and eventually Kisame would be revealed to be hiding inside a Samehara, and Guy and Naruto this time would both fly off, with Guy on the turtle to go and stop him. This would lead into Guy activating the 7th gate while Naruto taps into a little bit of his KCM state, which leads into them capturing Kisame. And when Kisame attempts to commit suicide, Naruto attempts to use a Ki Blast cannon attack to actually get rid of the water around Kisame, but it's already too little too late and he kills himself. Now, if you guys are wondering if Yamato would even be here for the interrogation process, well, I believe he actually would be. He wouldn't be familiar with Naruto as in canon since they never went out on that mission together, but he still does know of Naruto since, well, he did beat multiple members of the Akatsuki. He would still be known by Kakashi and Guy since he does know of them even before Shippuden started, and like in canon, the war would progress with Naruto and Bee still being actually held back from the war, and when they eventually figured this out, they both try and head it straight into the war but being stopped by the Raikage. And like in canon, the Raikage is actually proven wrong, and Naruto and Bee are definitely ready for this war. Similar to in canon, Naruto would send a bunch of shadow clones out in the war to go and help out the other alliance members, and they would still encounter Itachi and Nagato. Now, Naruto would be a lot more powerful than his canon self, and so he would actually be shown to catch Itachi and Nagato off guard multiple times, but due to their constant regen, I feel like Nagato would catch Naruto off guard and get ready to steal his soul. However, that is up until Itachi gets his reanimation released, and he, Killer Bee, and Naruto work together to get rid of Nagato. At that point, Itachi would then say to Naruto that he'll go and try and stop Sasuke, while Naruto and Killer Bee keep on proceeding with the war. And as we all know, KCM Naruto would make his way to the battlefield where he would actually fight the 3rd Raikage, and this KCM Naruto is far more powerful than his canon self, and when he uses Sage Mode to get rid of the 3rd Raikage, he does his dodge way more casual than in canon. Eventually, as we all know, Madara would be brought out to the battlefield, and this time, due to him being faster, the Rasen Shuriken actually tags Madara and sends Madara flying, but he just gets back up and then activates his Rinnegan rather than absorbing the Rasen Shuriken. And to be quite honest, I can see this Naruto actually having a lot more energy, or his Rasen Shuriken having a lot more energy than its canon self, because of his much better chakra control. And so even if Madara tried to absorb it, I feel like the Rasen Shuriken would still push him back, and Madara wouldn't be able to absorb the full Rasen Shuriken. Similar to in canon, the Chibaku Tensei is then released, and Inoki and Naruto work together to push it back, and especially with Gaara's assistance, they would be easily able to stop the first meteor a lot faster than in canon, and slow down even the second one. Eventually though, they would be defeated by the Chibaku Tensei, but they would be shown to be alive, and eventually the 5 Kage would post up in deciding to fight Madara, while the real Naruto and B around this point would have encountered Obito. Now this fight is significantly different than its canon counterpart, because in the canon timeline, the Bijus were actually able to hold their own against KCM Naruto and the likes of Killer B, but with Killer B and this stronger Naruto here, Killer B would do just as well as he did in the canon timeline, but with the help of a much more powerful Naruto, they would actually be able to body the Biju a lot easier than in canon, and it would basically come down to the point to where they don't lose chakra, well the Biju don't, and Naruto and Killer B eventually wear themselves out. However, before Naruto gets eaten, I do believe Guy and Kakashi would make their way to the battlefield and arrive fighting alongside Naruto and Killer B. Guy and Kakashi and Killer B would fight alongside KCM Naruto a lot longer until eventually he does get caught off guard and he does get eaten by Son Goku. And Guy, Kakashi, and Killer B try their best to stall until eventually KCM2 Naruto is born. Now with this, KCM2 Naruto would still slap all the Biju with Killer B. Probably he could do it without Killer B in this timeline, but we'll just say for the sake of simplicity, he does do it with Killer B. Now after this point, I do feel like things start aligning with the canon timeline, and it's just the only thing that changes is Naruto being a lot more powerful than his canon self. And so if Obito doesn't get his identity revealed the same time as in canon, it would happen earlier and Obito would then be revealed. Madara would then arrive and he and Obito would try their best to fight Naruto, Killer B, and the others, and Naruto does a lot better than in canon because, well, it's a far stronger Naruto. And this Naruto is actually able to withstand Madara's attacks and actually hold his own a lot better than his canon self against the god of Shinobi. This would then lead into Naruto's best jutsu, the Shinobi Alliance jutsu or whatever, and this would still lead into Naruto and them trying their best to try and combat the Ten Tails. Only difference here is instead of using Sage mode after running out of KCM, he would use the likes of Super Saiyan. Sadly, however, the Ten Tails would still do that whole wooden spear barrage, and with one of them being aimed at Naruto, Hinata tries her best to intercept, but Neji would then intercept that. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, Neji still sadly sacrifices himself. Naruto is at the point of literally going insane until Hinata tells him to calm down, and he goes Super Saiyan out of rage, and Naruto in that instance would actually ascend past Super Saiyan and go into something even further beyond that. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't get the implication already, Naruto is actually tapping into the Super Saiyan 2 or Super Saiyan Grade 2 state. Naruto would try and ascend past that, but Hinata would calm him down like in canon, and Hinata and Naruto would actually work together and decide to take down Madara and Obito together. Naruto would still give the Shinobi Alliance his chakra, and Naruto and the Alliance begin fighting Madara and Obito. And this is where, ladies and gentlemen, things start aligning with the canon timeline once again, and Obito and Kakashi would have their fight, and the Ten Tails Jinchuriki known as Obito Uchiha would then be born, and Naruto and Sasuke would still work together in actually defeating him. And yes, if I didn't already hint it well enough, yes, the entire Sasuke portion and the 4 Kage being revived, all that stuff happens as per normal, and this would still lead into Naruto and Sasuke still succumbing to the likes of Madara when he was revived, but then meeting the Sage of Six Paths, and he then grants them new powers. But in this timeline, I feel like Naruto would actually get something that actually fits more well into his Saiyan side, and so I'm going to say here he actually gets a mastered form of the Super Saiyan state. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he does get the Master Super Saiyan form that Gohan and Goku first obtained during the Cell games, and so he and Sasuke would actually have the same powers, by the way, would work together to defeat Madara, but only for Madara to be betrayed by Zetsu and Kaguya then being revived, and then Team 7 working together and defeating Kaguya. And the only difference that's gonna really happen in the ending is Sasuke and Naruto, the fight is more one-sided than in canon, and I feel like Naruto would defeat Sasuke without the sacrifice of losing his arm, and this would go the same for Sasuke. So they would actually make peace, and Sasuke would admit that Naruto did indeed win, and so this would conclude the Naruto story with Naruto becoming Hokage and eventually marrying Hinata and making the garbage child known as Boruto. And for some of you who are going, but Tyler, what about the last? It happens the same, it's just Naruto's a lot more powerful, and no, I am not covering Boruto. And so, bing, bang, boom, we are done with this story. Thank you guys once again for watching this video. Thank you for watching the entire series. I'm going to make an entire playlist for this series, link in the description, and with that being said, thank you guys once again for watching. My name is Tyler, peace out, bye.